Good evening. How we doing? Who is Florence Nightingale? Florence Nightingale was a British statistician, social reformer, but best known as the founder of modern nursing. Some of you might even know her as the Lady with the Lamp. Since I'm currently working as a registered nurse, her contribution to the discipline was monumental. Florence Nightingale was more than a nurse. She reformed the entire nursing discipline. Tonight we will honor Florence Nightingale for her determination, persistence, innovation, evidence-based practice, and her moral integrity. Florence Nightingale was persistent in her goals. She was born in time of the 1800s in England, where she was expected to get married at a very young age. However, as a young teen, she believed she had a calling from God to help the sick and the poor. At that day and age, the profession of nursing was looked down upon. Nursing wasn't a respected profession at the time, but Nightingale remained persistent and stood her ground, even when her parents did not approve of. She refused to get married. Her father eventually allowed her to go to Germany to study at a hospital. By the age of 33, Nightingale had returned to England and was a manager of a hospital. Florence Nightingale was a light in the darkness. She brought clean when there was filth. She brought healing when there was death. She brought a light when there was darkness. This was when her innovation and evidence-based practices prevailed. Nightingale was known as the Lady with the Lamp. Soon after she returned from Germany, the Crimean War began. The British were not prepared to treat an incredibly large number of injured and sick soldiers. They were what we call today practicing in the trenches. There was a lack of medical supplies, overcrowded areas, and poor sanitation. The state of the medical care was poor. This is when Nightingale was asked to come and help treat sick soldiers. Despite doctors not wanting to work with female nurses, they persevered. At the time, there were no women nurses stationed in the Crimean hospitals. As the number of patients increased, the doctors eventually decided that they needed nurses to help. Nightingale brought nutritious food, cleanliness, supplies, and sanitation to a military hospital. She was famously known for carrying the lamp and checking on the soldiers at night, so they gave her the nickname the Lady with the Lamp. Florence and her team transferred hospitals' working conditions. Incredibly, the death rate went from 40% to 2% because of her team's work. Florence Nightingale epitomized moral courage in practice. She demonstrated moral integrity with her unwavering commitment to her patients' well-being, highlighting honesty, compassion, accountability, and able to act courageously in the face of challenges. Nightingale believed that the nursing required a high degree of professional integrity. She laid the foundation for nurses to be trustworthy, truthful, and accountable for their actions. She centered and dedicated her work on the well-being for her patients. She wanted patients to be treated with compassion and dignity, even in the most dreadful circumstances. She practiced moral courage by challenging the status quo of the current conditions to improve care. Arguably one of the most important points, established the groundwork for therapeutic relationships with the family, patients, and colleagues. In conclusion, Florence Nightingale is best known as the founder of modern nursing, the mother of nursing. She provided a beacon of hope to the sick and injured patients. She was known for determination and persistence, innovation, evidence-based practice, and moral integrity. She was best known for the influence during the Crimean War, reducing the total death rate by 2/3 due to her efforts to increase sanitation. Florence Nightingale's lamp continues to light the way for all who choose to serve. As she best said it, I attribute my success to this. I never gave or took an excuse.